See, it's not like I want to sound like a broken record, but we all know Nigerian civic space is shrinking and the government seems to be getting more and more repressive. But here's the thing. The issue of a shrinking civic space affects subsets of our population more than others. Women and young people, who make up a significant portion of the population, are greatly affected, not only by traditionally recognized power structures, but by their fellow citizens and society. To break down this challenge and how it's impacting our democracy, women and young people form a large part of the Nigerian population. And we are not talking small numbers. Youths alone make up to 70% of Nigeria's population, with the majority under 30 years. Meanwhile, women represent roughly 50%. Yet these two groups have remained marginalized for far too long. They don't press these people's neck tire. Even though women and youths have been at the forefront of movements like EndSARS, their voices still haven't been heard enough in formal decision-making spaces. Can you imagine? This exclusion is making our democracy weaker and weaker. Because think about it now. What do you think happens when you relegate a substantial portion of your population? You do not need Babalawo or a prophet to tell you the potential outcome, Abi. That is why when we talk about expanding Nigerian civic space, we must deliberately include women and youths. If they are forgotten, then we need to start questioning this our democracy self. Now, let's be real. Make we yarn, as in me and you no talk. This thing they burst my medulla every time I think about it. Like I talked before, young people make up a huge chunk of the population. 70% not be being so. But what I still don't understand, and honestly they burst my bololo, is how they sideline young people, a whole 70%, from participating in major conversations and decision making in this country. How? In fact, even in everyday conversations, inside our compound plus our neighborhood, or even inside our family, young people are hardly represented when decisions are being made. Now think of it. If they don't even fit listen to young people for family level, how they won't take consider us for the bigger picture? That is, politics and governance for the country. How won't it grow if the people we suppose live tomorrow no fit even get seat for table today? How? As a matter of fact, in today's politics, it's like the only time youth are noticed is when politicians need someone to stir up trouble during elections. Now that time they go remember say, youth day. We need to ask ourselves, are young people only good as a tool in the hands of politicians? Or do they deserve a real place at the table? Ask yourself that question. Are they only useful for pushing the ambitions of wayo politicians? Or should they be sitting in the room where real decisions are made about our future? This is the big question that should be busting everyone's medulla, as in all of us join together. Not only my own, no. But despite the not too young to run's movement's victory in 2018, which lowered the age limit for political offices, young people are still facing major barriers to participating in politics. In fact, youth candidacy dropped from a whole 34% in 2019 general election to 28.6% in 2023 elections. And youth representation in the House of Representatives is still below 4%. Hey! That's alarming. Why is this happening? Of course, because of patronage politics, aka man-no-man syndrome, and the economic exclusion are still major obstacles. Listen, with youth unemployment at a staggering 53.4% in Q4 in the year 2020, how can young people be expected to participate in civic activities when SACPA is already the order of the day? Hey God, how do you expect them to run for office or even have a meaningful voice when just surviving is a challenge? It's like as if the system has already been rigged to keep them out before they even have a chance to get in. It's not just about political office. It's about mentoring the next set of leaders. Are we preparing today's student unions to become tomorrow's labor leaders? Are we creating platforms for them to grow into leaders we need? And how are we leveraging their leadership in art, tech, and innovation? See, these young people are already running things in the digital world, setting trends, influencing opinions, and creating change online. So why aren't we tapping into the energy to demand accountability, simplifying budgets, and amplifying voices in the real-world governance? If we don't, it will remain as if not only for social media they hear their voice, now they loud. While in the places that matter, everybody, they are silent. Here's a fun fact for you. Some of the important civic movements in Nigerian history were led by women. Oh, you're shocked? Okay, you know. Okay, good. Take the Aba Women's Revolt in 1929, for example. It set the stage for a lot of demands for self-rule. And there was even the Aba Women's Tax Protest of 1947, which forced major reforms in tax and governance, pushing us even closer to independence. And who could forget the bravery of Ayobe, who organized a 5 million people march against Abacha's regime? Women have always been the backbone of resistance in this country, whether you like it or not. From fighting colonial oppressions to standing up against military rule, they have paved way for freedoms we enjoy today. But what happened? It just be like say, with each passing year, women have continued to be relegated to the back. As of 2019, women held only 3.8% of the seats in the national parliament. It be one kind of be too low for a country where women make up half the population. And just like the youth, women are not properly represented at several levels in our society. Because whether in a town hall meeting, family meeting, community gathering, you name it. And don't get me started on those token titles like women leader that they just throw around as if he wish. I beg. Let's be honest. That is not real representation now. It doesn't allow for Nigerian women to truly demonstrate their capabilities and leadership potential. They get potential now. We need women in positions where they can make meaningful decisions, not just to fill up a quota or be the face of gender balance. If we are serious about expanding civic space, women have to be in the forefront and center, leading and charging alongside the men, as in back to back, like it was a hit. It is time we address these barriers head on, because without confronting these deep-rooted issues, the civic space will remain close to the very people who can bring fresh perspective and change. So, what's the way forward? Expanding Nigerians' civic space must start with us. Yes, you, where they look me now, and me. We can't just sit down, they look and expect everything to change overnight. Now you said think. It's time we all recognize that true progress starts when we include both women and youth in every conversation that matters. This will not be only government work. Now me and you work join. All of us are meant to join hands and make sure these groups are not just seen but also heard. First off, we need to change our mindset. Are we really making sure youth and women are involved in important decisions in our communities? Yes. In that your family meeting or that on a small community meetings, are they making impact? Because believe me, expanding civic space starts with these little things. Not be only to the shout, we no go gree, we no go. No. When you shut down and finish for Abuja, what can happen? It is from everyday conversations we can make sure everybody's voice counts. The government myself, they have their role to play in expanding the civic space, and they have been hearing it from us for many decades now. Trust me, their ear don't fool, and we are constantly putting pressure to meet those expectations. But however, true inclusivity starts from ground up. In our communities, let us encourage women and youth to take on leadership roles. Civil society myself, yes, must be intentional. We can't claim to fight for equity if we are still leaving women and youth out of the key decision-making positions within our organizations. Our own organizations now they talk about. Yes, expanding civic space isn't a one-off task. It is a collective effort. Only when we start from our communities and carry it all the way to the top, then we will build a democracy that reflects the voices of all the people. The question is, are you doing your part to make sure everyone gets a seat at the table? See, now the same hot water wey dey make yam make it soft, now you see they make egg make it hard. Think am.